Welcome to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with Rebecca Hall Gruyter. In our program each week, we provide the tools, ideas, and encouragement to help you move ahead on your journey, becoming a more powerful and impactful woman in your own life. Now here's your host, Rebecca Hall Gruyter.
Welcome, everyone. I hope that you're having an amazing day. Honored to be connecting in with you. And today we're going to be talking about leadership. Authentic leadership. What is that? How do we tap into it? How do we uncover it and bring what leadership truly is, authentic leadership, into our lives? And then step forward as powerful, dynamic, impactful, and authentic leaders. So excited. Leadership is so important. We need leaders that are willing to step forward authentically as they are, bringing their gifts and their talents forward, bringing those to the world. We need that. And I also want to remind us that we are all leaders. Sometimes we think it's somebody else, someone else does that, or we have this picture of what a leader is, but we all have opportunities to lead and be a leader in various areas of our life. So I want to encourage you to lean into being a leader. And secondly, let's get curious, how can we be more authentically who we are as a leader and bring our gifts, our talents forward, bring them into the world that so needs our gifts, our talents, and our abilities. It's going to be an exciting show. We have an amazing, dynamic leader that has worked around the world in many different industries and has such a powerful perspective around leadership that we are excited to dedicate our full show to going into this conversation deeply and powerfully to support each and every one of you. In order for us to get the most out of our time together, because we truly honor and appreciate your willingness to connect in and show up fully as part of this conversation. Each of you are important to it. And I want you to get the most out of our time together today, because I know you're here for a reason. There is purpose to us connecting together. So let's do so mindfully and purposely. Taking a deep breath all the way in through our nose, all the way down to our toes. Big breath. Then breathe out through your mouth like through a straw. I'm finding today I'm even reaching my hands up and out and over, even making more room in my lungs for more air, more space, more support. As you're breathing in, I invite you to close your eyes. You're absolutely safe. And just feel that beautiful oxygen coming in, all of that support coming in for you. Filling every cell in your body, allowing support in. And then as we breathe out, releasing what no longer serves. How beautiful is that? Creating room and space for more. So I even encourage you to close your eyes as you're pausing, breathing, tuning in. And put both hands on your heart. I think that's part of us authentically connecting and showing up. We want to make sure our heart's involved. So as you have your hands on your heart and you're breathing in, I want you to think about leadership. What does that mean to you? Authenticity. Being authentic. And then when we add those two words together, just notice what you feel. Notice what comes up. It could be excitement. It could be a curiosity. It could be, I've not always put those words together. And as you're putting them together and you're taking a moment to just feel, observe, I encourage you to listen. So what is it that your heart is sharing with you today? What is it that you need? What will empower you, encourage you, support you? What do you need today, real time, that you're willing to be open to receive because you have choice? So what is it that you need and are willing to receive that your heart is sharing with you? And sometimes we have to listen extra close because it's not just the beat of the heart that is sharing a message. It can be that pause in between the beats. Just receive. Beautiful. Let's take another breath in through the nose. Open up your eyes. You're absolutely safe. Beautiful. And take a moment and write down what was laid on your heart. And just see, perhaps you're reminded of something, or a new question popped up, or a curiosity, or an observation, or a reminder. Just see what that is and what it is that you need today. Because our goal is to pour into you, to share in such a way that you are empowered, you are encouraged, that you are gaining new insights, information, perspective to support you on your journey. So keep that paper handy. I want you taking notes throughout our time together today of what is being shared, what is touching your heart and spirit, and what is maybe bubbling up as a result of what's being shared within you. As we come back together here, I'm going to encourage you to tune in, take notes, and I'd love for you, Farah, to share what was laid on your heart when you took a moment to pause and listen.
Rebecca, your voice is so beautiful. I just want to start there. But for me, I've just dropped into a space of grounding right now. Though I love that you shared we are all leaders, right? And that's something I say a lot, that we are leading our lives, we're leading our relationships. We don't have to be leading teams and organizations. So that statement has really stayed with me over the last few minutes of what does it mean to truly be able to show up in our authenticity, no matter what we're leading, no matter who we're leading.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing. I appreciate that. And listeners, I'm curious about what's being laid on your heart. Perhaps that was something that struck you as well, as, oh, I haven't thought of myself as a leader. Like, that's a new hat to consider or perspective to take in. Maybe it's we see leadership outside of us, or we are giving away some of our authority and leadership. It can be all different kinds of things that come up. So as we go to our first commercial break, I encourage you to sit with and receive, listen to what is bubbling up for you, and we'll continue our conversation in just a moment.
Follow Voice America at facebook.com/Voice America for juicy updates from your favorite radio shows and podcasts.
Announcing a powerful new TV channel featuring programs designed to enhance and transform your life. Make powerful connections, one program at a time. And by doing so, we can bring transformation to the world. Tune in each week to Empowered Connections TV as we add new programs to help you make empowered connections of your own. Visit empoweredconnectionstv.com. That's empoweredconnectionstv.com. And make the most of an incredible life transformation.
Voice America programs are now available on your favorite connected device, including Amazon, Alexa, and Google Home. Through streams with Apple Podcasts, TuneIn, and iHeartRadio, listening to your favorite show is as easy as saying the show name followed by the word podcast.
Hey, Alexa, play Finding Your Frequency podcast.
If that doesn't work, try adding on TuneIn or on iHeartRadio or on Apple Podcasts.
Rebecca Hall Gruyter's Speaker Talent Search is looking for speakers wanting to get on more stages. With just one audition, you could open the doors to hundreds of speaking opportunities, reach more people, and expand your impact. Finalists get to audition live in front of leaders looking to fill all kinds of speaking opportunities. Apply now at speakertalentsearch.com. That's speakertalentsearch.com. We look forward to hearing your message.
It's your world. Motivate, change, succeed. VoiceAmericaEmpowerment.com.
You're listening to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with your host, Rebecca Hall Gruyter. If you have a question or comment for Rebecca or her guest, we'd love to hear from you. Please send an email to Rebecca at yourpurposedrivenpractice.com. Now back to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you enjoyed just having that moment, that time for you. I find we're so often running here or there. Things are pinging us, pulling us this way, that way, that the pace of life gets very fast. And sometimes it can kind of be in charge. So having this time cut out for you, an opportunity for you to pause, to be able to listen and hear what's going on within you and have room to take in more, it can be so powerful. And it can happen in as little as 1 minute, 2 minutes. Just remembering to pause, to center, and to receive can make such a difference. So I'm going to encourage you. We have these commercial breaks. They're actually secret pause breaks for you built in throughout the show. It's an opportunity for you to be able to process what's being shared, what's bubbling up within you, and being able to allow it to integrate within you, not just add it to a to-do list. So I'm going to encourage you to use those moments as they come up. They're strategically placed to really support you. So welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that last break. And I wanted to take a moment and introduce our guest a little bit more formally. You got to meet her a little bit on a heart level, hear her energy, her voice, some of her perspective around leadership. And I wanted to share just a little bit of her background. And this is just a touch, just a piece. You can always dig in, learn more. We would love that. But let me give you a little bit of information around Farah. So Farah is a leadership and executive coach, consultant, and speaker, the founder and CEO of FARSIGHT, a leadership and organizational development company that really seeks to make a difference across multiple sectors and multiple countries and spheres of influence around leadership. So powerful. She's a contributor to the Forbes Coaches Council, and she's also co-creator of Wonder Woman and hosts the FARSIGHT Chat podcast. She's featured in Forbes and Success Magazine, and she was recognized with and she was helping me pronounce this. So, Farah, if I mispronounce it, I give you full permission to help me pronounce it correctly. But let me try. Zoroastrian. I don't think I did that quite right.
You're almost there. Zoroastrian. Okay. Yeah.
Zoroastrian. Thank you. Getting closer each time.
You got this.
Diversity Award. Thank you. I appreciate that. And you're absolutely passionate about leadership and helping people bring their leadership forward in so many powerful ways. So I want to thank you for the work you do. I'm excited for our conversation, and I want to welcome Farah Bala officially to our stage. Welcome.
Oh, thank you so much, Rebecca. It is an absolute honor and pleasure to be here in conversation with you.
Thank you. We are thrilled to have you. And I wanted to start with why. Why leadership? Why is this something that is so important to you, that you have dedicated so much time, energy, resources, and there's so many ways that you're creating programs and working with individuals and organizations? Why is this work so important to you?
I would have to rewind about 10, 15 years. So as your listeners will go and read the rest of who I am in my bio, they will discover that I have a background in the theater. And I have been doing multiple things and navigating at the intersection of multiple careers pretty much all my life. And so while I was pursuing a career in acting and producing within the theater and TV film world, I got the opportunity to co-lead a theater company. And that was my very first experience, front row seat of what leadership is, the impact of leadership, understanding how decisions get made, what decisions get made, and how that impacts the organization and as it trickles down. That was also my front row seat to understanding relationship to power, understanding motivations behind decision making, behind leading, whether fueled by self-interest or whether fueled by something bigger than oneself. I got to experience both. I got to experience the power of effective leadership and how it was, towards being a force for good. I love that you mentioned that at all times of how can we show up in the world as being a force for good. And leadership, authentic leadership can absolutely do that. And I also had the experience of seeing the other side to it. When self-interest is motivating leadership, when a power dynamics, command and control, just for the interest of a few, and how then that creates ripple effects and that creates harm in many, many, many ways. And I was going through my own transformation at that time within this work of coaching, facilitation, leadership development, more as an independent contractor and freelancer. But something stuck for me there. And I realized, I've been a community organizer. I've done many things in my life. And I realized that creating impact can be at any level. But there was something that drew me to leadership, specifically, if I can contribute to elevating a social consciousness within leadership and authenticity within leadership, it's an all boats rise impact that happens, right? Something I say all the time is when your people thrive, your business thrives. And I want to help leaders help their people thrive so that everyone wins at the end of the day.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing. I can hear your passion in it. And I love that. I mean,
that's a thread in, I think, everything I do. So, yeah.
It's so important. I feel like we can bring our passion, those things that we care about that light us up to what we do. And I love that you're sharing that with us today. So I appreciate that. And that you have looked at leadership and kind of seen where it can be powerful and amazing and lift others up. And it also can have the other effect and ripple as well, depending on how it's held and where people are coming from. And this desire to help people show up in a way that it's making a positive difference, that consciously, mindfully, purposely, people are choosing to show up as a leader that is looking to lift others up and to help them thrive. And I love how you've tied a organization, a business can thrive when their people thrive, so that there's this win-win. Plus, I think those that they're serving thrive. Everybody wins when we can approach it that way. And so I appreciate your heart in that and leaning into it. And I wanted to start just to make sure we're all on the same page when we're putting those words together, authentic and leadership, because I don't know that we always do. Hopefully we do more and more. But what does authentic leadership mean? And how is that different than just leadership?
Yeah, I love that question. So when I think about business growth or leadership growth, there is the policy, procedure, rules, strategy part of it. And then there's the human part of it that makes all of the other stuff happen. So I always say I come in to hold up the humanity of your organization, the human side to your business strategy. There is so much focus put on those policy, procedure, and rules that we forget, and tasks and deliverables and project success and timelines, etc. We become so driven and slaves to outputs and outcomes that we forget that there are human beings behind all of what makes that happen. And so for me, authentic leadership is, how can we keep ourselves accountable to the human within us, whether that is coming from a space of curiosity, from that space of growth mindset, empathy and compassion for not just what we do, but for the people we work with, coming from a place of wanting to help and serve, right? Not just help the company meet their bottom line, but also help my team, my colleagues be the better and best version of themselves. Whether it comes to upskilling, whether it comes to helping within collaboration, having each other's back. In the theater world, we say, that is like a core unspoken rule, that when we are in a room together as artists, we have each other's back at all times. There is no finger pointing. We work with what we get, right? So someone messes up, all right, that's our new reality. How are we going to move this forward? And I bring that into my definition of authentic leadership as well. At the end of the day, everyone wants to be seen, heard, and valued. How can we do that together? How can we do that in a co-creative space? Bringing my full self to the table with what I know, and being able to receive who is around me and their skills and their competencies, and how can we build together? Mm-hmm. Another part of authentic leadership is integrity and transparency. Not just the what of communication, but how we communicate. Again, that comes back to that decision-making, relationship to power, how communication is done, what is prioritized, what isn't, and transparency, integrity, follow through, walk your talk. All of that is so, so important when we think of authentic leadership. Yes, it's a privilege, but more so it's a responsibility. We're responsible for, again, not just the organization and its success, but also for the people that we are leading.
Thank you. I appreciate you sharing that and all the different aspects that fall under authentic leadership. And there's a lot of pieces there, a lot of things to consider and evaluate and take a look at. Is there a starting place that you would encourage for our listeners today? Some of them may just be thinking, wow, I haven't really thought of myself as a leader. That's new to me. I can feel a pull in that. To those that are leading, fully own that mantle, and bringing in more authenticity is pulling at them. Where it's a good place for them to start looking at this, not with judgment or criticism, but awareness.
Yeah. I like to give an analogy for this, right? Whether or not someone believes that they are a leader, right? You're either a leader by choice, you're very proactive, or by default, where you feel like you're being forced to lead or made to lead. Either way, without a level of consciousness around it, we're in the passenger seat. So being in the passenger seat, we are not setting the trajectory, the path, the route that we are taking in that car. Someone else is driving that car, and we are in the passenger seat, even while we are leading. And that someone else could be a past version of ourselves. It could be messaging that comes from our past selves, and whether it's cultural messaging, whether it's family values, whether it's other spaces and social groups that we might have been part of, socio-cultural spaces of those messaging that create a perception of who we are. And that perception of who we are is not always authentically who we are, but we choose to believe it. So the first step is get in the driver's seat. Mm. When you get in the driver's seat, you're putting a mirror up to yourself, and you're literally asking it starts with self at the end of the day, right? You could be the CEO, you could be a new hire. Start with yourself, look in the mirror and say, what are the messages that I tell myself about myself and my capacity to lead? Does it come down to self-worth? Does it come down to feeling deserving or not? Is there imposter stuff in there? Is there what is that stuff? And I always say interrogate. Get in the driver's seat and interrogate. Examine the car, right? Look at your rearview mirror. Is that going to give me the best view? Or I need to adjust it. I need to say that, oh, this message is actually not true of who I am today. So I need to reframe that. I need to tell myself something else about who I am as a leader.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. That's a really powerful way for us to kind of look at things. And I love that. Get in the driver's seat.
Get in the driver's seat.
Explore, right? and make sure your vehicle is supporting you, or what needs to be. Maybe a window needs to be cleaned or cleared.
Oh, yeah.
Or mirror. As we go to our first commercial break, listeners, I want you to think about what Farah just shared and really take in for a moment during this commercial break, moving into that driver's seat and taking a look around at your vehicle and just start to notice. We'll continue our conversation in just 2 minutes.
A little birdie told me Voice America is on X. Follow us at Voice America TRN.
Rebecca Hall Gruyter's Speaker Talent Search is looking for speakers wanting to get on more stages. With just one audition, you could open the doors to hundreds of speaking opportunities, reach more people, and expand your impact. Finalists get to audition live in front of leaders looking to fill all kinds of speaking opportunities. Apply now at speakertalentsearch.com. That's speakertalentsearch.com. We look forward to hearing your message.
Have you become a member yet? Sign up now to become a member of Voice America. It's always free and easy. Plus, you get to take advantage of some great member benefits. Get unlimited access to millions of hours of on-demand content across all of our channels. Keep track of your favorite episodes, shows, and hosts in your own customizable library. Find out what shows you might be interested in based on your favorites. Plus, you get insider access with our newsletter. Membership gives you more. Sign up at voiceamerica.com and click Register at the top right.
Announcing a powerful new TV channel featuring programs designed to enhance and transform your life. Make powerful connections, one program at a time. And by doing so, we can bring transformation to the world. Tune in each week to Empowered Connections TV as we add new programs to help you make empowered connections of your own. Visit empoweredconnectionstv.com. That's empoweredconnectionstv.com. And make the most of an incredible life transformation.
It's your world. Motivate, change, succeed. VoiceAmericaEmpowerment.com.
You're listening to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with your host, Rebecca Hall Gruyter. If you have a question or comment for Rebecca or her guest, we'd love to hear from you. Please send an email to Rebecca at yourpurposedrivenpractice.com. Now back to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm curious, as you took a moment to be present and shift from perhaps the passenger seat to the driver's seat, or maybe you're already in the driver's seat, but you haven't looked at your vehicle in that critical way for a while. Maybe it needs more gas. Maybe the oil needs to be changed. Maybe the mirrors need to be cleaned, or the perspective, or what's reflecting back, or what you're telling yourself could perhaps shift a bit or be brought current for who you are now and where you're going and who you're becoming. We want to make sure that the steps you're taking, how you're showing up, is actually going to help you go where you're trying to go. You're not trying to drive backwards, you're driving forwards. So really taking a moment and doing that check-in is so powerful. And I'd encourage you to add that to your toolbox of consciously, periodically making sure that you're in, that's a check. Am I in the driver's seat? What am I telling myself? What is the information I'm receiving? And is it aligned and supportive of where I'm going? And just remembering to do that periodic check-in. And then I know we had to go to commercial break there, and Farah had an additional thought she wanted to share. So I wanted to make sure we had some space for that. So Farah, please share.
Thanks, Rebecca. It was piggybacking on something you said. It's when I say get in the driver's seat, and to your point, you might feel like the mirror needs to be cleaned, the gas needs to be changed, but maybe that past version of yourself didn't, right? The past version of yourself might have felt quarter tank of gas, I can totally drive for another hour. But who you are today would feel more comfortable if you filled up your tank. So go fill up that tank. Stay present to who you are today, what your needs are today, what your aspirations are today, what your strengths are today. It's really, really important to kind of bring yourself to the current. And the only way to do that is when you get in the driver's seat, because that's when you give yourself agency to do that interrogation and inspection of your car.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing. I appreciate that. And that reminder, I love that we get to grow and we get to evolve and we can shift.
Yes, exactly.
Supportive of us. I love that. It's very dynamic. And one of the things I like to talk about, particularly in October, I love to play off of masks and Halloween and how can we unmask our authentic leadership. And to me, that also ties into a potential, just like we're saying, we're not static, we're evolving. So what is potential and why is that important to leadership? And if it is, how do we start to step more into it?
I love that question. So I have a perpetual to a fault growth mindset. And so I see potential from that lens. We always say, how can I be the best version of myself today? And then that potential part of it is, and how can I be better tomorrow? That's not to say that there's anything to come in with a very highly critical lens of who we were today, but it's just opening that other door of possibility that there is always another way to do something. There is always another way to show up. There is always another way. And that keeps us, hopefully, with that, what I call childlike curiosity of what's next, how next. And it also gives us that same childlike wonder with which we look at ourselves, because so often we look at ourselves with a very harsh, critical lens, right? That's how imposter syndrome kicks in. It's not just that women feel that, but every single human feels that. And now with social media and AI and these spaces of, whether we're taking in information or misinformation, there are these harsh ways of I think there is a push to be right. There is a chasm between, right and wrong. And if you are wrong, then that's bad. And for me, it's about potential is staying in the gray. Potential is saying, having more compassion and understanding that we are growing and evolving, and that what we know today enables the best decisions that we make today, and that we will learn from today that will enable us to make better decisions tomorrow at the end of the day. So for me, at the end of the day, potential is this constant chiseling away of how can we do something better.
Well, I really like that, because potential to me, I get excited of what is possible and what can be brought forward, and we get to keep growing, we get to keep learning, we get to see possibilities, and sometimes who we're becoming can do things who we were couldn't do as we grow and evolve, and more opens up, and technology evolves, and our teams can evolve, and those around us grow as well. So we have this ever growing opportunity of what can be and what we can step into. So for me, I know potential is very exciting. And yet I also know sometimes people can look at, I like how you brought up this critical eye. Sometimes we can be so harsh on ourselves and how we look at things. I think we're much harsher on ourselves than others frequently, what we tell ourselves. And so just remembering that and looking at the potential. And I love how you tied in that we're learning. And what we do today, we get to learn from and grow from. And to me, that feels very inviting and warm and exciting. So I love that aspect of potential. Now, some of us, I know sometimes can feel a little overwhelmed, can have fear that comes up when we look ahead and it's gray. It's not just black and white, but there's this gray zone of unknown that we're potentially stepping into paths we haven't been on before. Do you find leaders shrink back, lean in, or work through the fear? What do you see? And I know you have such a wide global perspective.
Like, are you asking like what is a general space of how leaders are showing up?
Well, if you find fear is a common thing they face,
yeah,
and if so, how are they navigating through? Are they sidestepping it? Are they navigating through? Are they taking a step back? What are you finding happens? And what is the best way they can keep really standing in their authority and driving their car where it can serve best?
Yeah. So no one will say, this is my fear until they are in a relation. If I've worked with them for a month or so and they start getting used to being okay, that fear is okay. Fear is what keeps that mask in place. So when a potential client comes to me, they're going to come to me with either full imposter, I want to get from here to there, but everything else around is getting in the way. And there is no necessarily sense of having a mirror up to themselves of, okay, how might I have contributed to this? Or what might I not be doing for reasons that are actually putting that mask so glued to me, right? So fear is the fuel. Everyone has it. I have it, right? Fear, but it's the dosage of fear. Fear can show up as nervousness, as anxiety. And if you have good micro practices of self-regulation, of grounding, the way you just started our conversation today, whatever one needs to do to just ground ourselves, that is a way to dissipate the fear. Now, if we don't have those practices, but we have had an incredible leader who has shown courage, who has taken responsibility even when the odds were against them, that can help drive and motivate towards someone else's potential. Conversely, I might have the best grounding practices. I might have some incredible self-awareness and self-regulation, but I have, for better or worse, had terrible bosses, and I have had leaders model terrible practices. Then that gets internalized. So at the end of the day, I believe fear is everywhere, and it's a strong motivator of those masks. The work is about acknowledging that there is fear, understanding that there is work to be done. We can't wish fear away, but we can work with it, and working with it diffuses its power over us. And that energy, fear is energy at the end of the day. And let's say I work with it, right? So really simple example, I have a fear of public speaking, right? So I can dread it, I can wish it away, but it's always going to show up. And if I just stay in, oh my God, I have to speak, and I don't want to speak, I'm not good at speaking, that's how we're going to show up, and we're going to be terrible. But if we say, okay, I fear it, I'm going to do the best I can. I know rehearsing works, practice works. That's what I'm going to put my focus on. So now I'm working with what I'm scared of. And what that also does is starts moving our attention away from the fear and refocuses us into actually what matters. And so by the time we get up to speak, we will most certainly be a better version of a speaker than we were yesterday. And hopefully we learn, again, part of that growth mindset of like, oh, I could do that. Oh, this process of rehearsing and practicing worked, or of recording myself, that worked. I'm going to replicate that. So the next time I have a speaking engagement, the fear is going to be there. I might get that pit in my stomach. I might get sweaty palms, but now I've created a process that I can hang on to.
I appreciate it. And I like how that's acknowledging it and shifting the focus so that there is a movement forward. When I first started speaking, I was terrified. And I used to hide behind a mask in public speaking. I would hide behind my credentials. I'd hide behind just titles, and I'd make sure I had a uniform I would wear. So I was showing up in that way, and that helped me feel safe. And eventually, when I shifted careers and I started more of a different type of speaking, where I was sharing more personally and my story and my journey, I remember being terrified, and I made a deal with myself. I said, okay, I know we're scared, but I'll keep you safe. And if I need to walk off the stage to do so, I will do that. And I could feel that fear calming down. And I eyed the exit row. I had a game plan where I could quickly, gracefully walk off the stage if I needed to. And I didn't. And every time I spoke, I got less afraid, and I got stronger, and I survived every time. And it became enjoyable over time as I did that. So not letting the fear, honoring the fear, feeling the feeling, but making a deal to be able to move forward.
Yes, that's actually what you said is so important. Plan for the worst case scenario. Because fear is unfounded, right? Where when we start articulating fear and planning for that, again, it settles. So you had a plan of like, all right, worst case, I'm going to walk off stage, but you never did that. But, and to your point, that shifted energy within you of like, okay, that's not the unknown anymore. I know what I will do in that moment. That is so important at this point that you bring up. Plan for the worst case scenario.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And it did. It really calmed the fear down, and I felt safe, and I knew I had my back.
There we go.
I could serve from that space and not be afraid in that way. So it ended up being a powerful tool, and it'll creep up every once in a while, and I make the plan. And to date, I have not walked off stage and have enjoyed the experience over time. Well, I just have so enjoyed our time together today. And I just wanted to see if there is something on your heart around leadership and authentic leadership that you wanted to bring forward to our listeners today.
The time for leaders could not be more prescient than now. We are in a time of unprecedented change on many, many levels. Not just technology, social media, AI shifting how work is done, but AI is going to shift how leadership happens. And whether you are a leader of a company or a team of a human, think about who you want to be moving forward. What can you harness for yourself to be that force for good? You don't have to, your impact can be minuscule, but it's every drop in the ocean that makes it the ocean as vast as it is. And I think that each of us is needed right now to harness the best version of ourselves in this moment and start envisioning who we wish to be, because we're going to need all of us to move us through this time in a way that is empowering and motivating.
Thank you. I love what you just shared. We are all needed, and we're all an important part of that ocean. And as we go to our next commercial break here, I want to encourage you to really let that message sink in. See what is coming forward. See what tools you can add to your toolbox. And we'll continue our conversation in just 2 minutes.
Voice America is on LinkedIn. Connect with us today.
Announcing a powerful new TV channel featuring programs designed to enhance and transform your life. Make powerful connections, one program at a time. And by doing so, we can bring transformation to the world. Tune in each week to Empowered Connections TV as we add new programs to help you make empowered connections of your own. Visit empoweredconnectionstv.com. That's empoweredconnectionstv.com. And make the most of an incredible life transformation.
You need to live up to your full potential. You've heard that for years, but now there's a channel to help you get there. Introducing the Voice America Empowerment Channel. Our listeners have told us that they want to be motivated, hear about success stories, and positive encouragement around the clock. And we've responded to you. The Voice America Empowerment Channel is the home of the world's top life coaches, entrepreneurs, and success experts. Listen to the Voice America Empowerment Channel. It's here at voiceamericaempowerment.com.
Rebecca Hall Gruyter's Speaker Talent Search is looking for speakers wanting to get on more stages. With just one audition, you could open the doors to hundreds of speaking opportunities, reach more people, and expand your impact. Finalists get to audition live in front of leaders looking to fill all kinds of speaking opportunities. Apply now at speakertalentsearch.com. That's speakertalentsearch.com. We look forward to hearing your message.
Find out what makes the most successful people tick. Keep listening to the Voice America Empowerment Channel. voiceamericaempowerment.com.
You're listening to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with your host, Rebecca Hall Gruyter. If you have a question or comment for Rebecca or her guest, we'd love to hear from you. Please send an email to Rebecca at yourpurposedrivenpractice.com. Now back to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you took a moment to really let that message sink in, and I hope you felt a pull in your heart, in your spirit, a response to what Farah shared. This leaning in, being willing to get into that driver's seat, remembering how important you are for such a time as this. Your journey, your gifts, your talents, your experience are so needed, especially now. So I want you to really feel into that. And what is a step, an action you can take today, not someday, not just on the list, but a step you can take today, or a baby step. They count too. They move you forward, that you can take today as a result of our time together, of what has touched your heart, what has pulled you forward, what has inspired you, what has helped you shift into that driver's seat, and maybe evaluate your tools around you and really make sure the mirrors are clear and clean, the oil's changed, the seatbelts are on, all of the things that can help you drive your vehicle where you're called to go, because it is so needed, and every driver matters and is needed. Now, Farah, I have just so appreciated you taking the time. I know you have a super busy schedule. You lead so many different things, and I appreciate the wisdom and insight and heart that you have shared with us today. And I wanted to make sure people could go deeper. They can connect with you further beyond our conversation today. What is the best way for people to connect in, go deeper? Everyone have your papers and pens ready? Farah, we'd love to hear.
Rebecca, I just want to first say thank you to you for what you do and who you are in the world, driving your car. I've just so thoroughly enjoyed all of these episodes that I have heard. And you are needed as well. I hope you know that. Okay, so how can you reach out to me? Reach out to me personally. I would love to hear from you. My email is farah@gofarsight.com. That's my first name, Fareh, at gofarsight.com. Check out our website. There are plenty of resources there. That's gofarsight.com. Check out our podcast. It's available across all platforms. It's called FARSIGHT Chats, Leadership Wisdom for Today's World. What else? If you're interested in joining our Wonder Women Circle, or if you're interested in our coaching programs, or just getting on our mailing list, there is so much, that we are doing and launching periodically. Please join our mailing list. If you have specific questions, fill out our contact form. If you need work done within your organization, I will be happy to speak with you about that. But I think the best place is go to our website, get on our mailing list, and fill out our form with any queries or inquiries that you might have. I would love to also stay connected with you on social media. So find me on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook. Our company is the FARSIGHT Agency. And then, of course, my personal pages, Farah Bala.
Beautiful. Thank you. And do you mind sharing your website one more time?
Sure. It's www.gofarsight.com. That's go, GOFARSIGHT.com.
Perfect. Thank you. I want to make sure everybody knows how to connect and go deeper. And I also just honor and celebrate you as a leader, standing there for us and with us. And I think there's this myth out there that people feel like as a leader, you have to stand alone or you need to pull yourself up by your bootstraps. And it's just a myth. You don't have to do it on your own. We can come together as powerful leaders, lift each other up, support each other, hold mirrors up in front of us to show our true reflections, and honor and celebrate that and bring those forward. And I love that you are doing that in the world. So a leader that's leading leaders and supporting them. So thank you for joining us today, sharing your wisdom, insight, and expertise with us.
Thank you, Rebecca. It has been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you. Mine as well. And listeners, I thank you as well for joining us, leaning in, exploring leadership, and wherever you are in that space of seeing yourself as a leader or not. I hope that you have started to shift your perspective. You've gained something from our time together around your perspective of leadership and authentic leadership, and how you're choosing to show up as a result of what you're discovering and exploring. That each of you, your voice matters, your way of being matters. We get to create ripples out into the world. And the more we can do that mindfully and purposely, the bigger impact we can have in the areas that matter to us. So I encourage you to go back out into the world, take a few moments for you, pause, breathe, and choose. You get to be in charge of your next step. Choose your next step forward, and be willing to be seen, be willing to be heard, be willing to bloom where you're planted and shine. Have an amazing week, everyone, and we'll look forward to talking to you next time.
Thank you for joining us this week for Empowering Women, Transforming Lives. Please tune in again for another edition with your host, Rebecca Hall Gruyter, next Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, 10 a.m. Pacific, on the Voice America Empowerment Channel, with a replay on Sunday at 4 p.m. Eastern and 1 p.m. Pacific on the Voice America Variety Channel. Have a beautiful week, and may you always bloom where you're planted and shine.